I don't know if I'm too close or not. I finally got a tripod, like the tiny ones. Not tiny, the small ones, because I only have the big one. And I don't have to stack any books now. I just use it. It's fine. I just have to adjust it. Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. So today we are going to be talking about a movie I saw a while back. I just haven't been able to record this, so today is the day that I'm finally doing this. I'm talking about Badland and Hunters. That's a movie on Netflix. It is a Korean movie actually, and is I think it was released in January, I think. And it's not that, as far as I remember, I think it's almost 2 hours or a little bit over an hour and a half. It's really not that long. It doesn't feel long because it's actually really good. This is like a spoiler. It's really good. You're always entertained while you watch the movie. So this is what I'm going to be talking to. So this shouldn't be that long of a video, but you never know. So this movie starts with Kisu. Yeah, Kisu. We started with the names. He is a doctor, I guess you could call him. I wouldn't say a doctor. He does a lot of experiments, but people call him doctor. But he's in his lab and he's trying to revive his daughter. She's dying. At this point she's dying. And he's doing experiments and stuff, and from what I understood, because they explain this whole experiment that he's doing later on, but from what I understood, I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget. So from what I understood, he came up with a procedure that mutates some characteristics of the reptile in the human body, making them immortal. And we see this later on when he's working with the military people, that he has done the experiments on them and stuff. They are immoral, and these people also get regenerative abilities. That's how they call it. If you stab him or anything, they just can keep going. They don't die. So at this point in his lab, he's going to inject his daughter with this, but the police, and I'm calling them police because they look like police, they appear and they're trying to stop him. The woman is like, hey, you don't have to do this, we can help you, blah blah blah. But that's when a big earthquake happens and everything in Seoul is destroyed. After all this time passed, I don't remember how much time, but I'm pretty sure some time passed, and we meet a couple of characters. We first meet Namsan, and Jiwon. They are hunting and they end up killing a crocodile, and they bring it back to this small little village that people has done themselves, and they give it to people in exchange. So if you give them rice, if you give them any type of food, clothes, anything like that, you give it to them, they will give you a piece of food that they catch. In this case it's a crocodile. At that point we also meet Suna, which is the girl, and her grandmother. Now I don't think they ever mentioned the grandmother's name, and if they did, I didn't catch it, and I didn't find it either when I was finding out the characters and stuff. So I'm just gonna call her grandmother because I really couldn't find her name. But they live in that small little village, and they know Namsa and Jiwon, and they're talking and stuff. There's this fight that happens because there's this guys that appear in that village all of a sudden, and they're scouring the area and looking, and they try to bring Sunan, and Jiwon is trying so hard to defend her, but he can't, and Namsa intervenes and he ends up fighting. This is the first time that we see him fight. It is a hilarious fight, I would say that, because they're not a match to Namsa whatsoever. But by this fight we get to know the famous apartment, and this is something that Jiwon actually know, because when the whole fight ends and they're going back to their little place, Jiwon is talking about this apartment, and he says that it is the only apartments that survived the earthquake, and that people live there and they have food, they have water, they have clothes, they have everything they need to survive, but not everybody get in it. Just like chosen people are there, but people know about the existence of these apartments. And when they go back to the little place, they see that Suna and the grandmother are talking to this random people, and they're like, hey, we are from the apartment, you both were chosen to go there, you just have to come with us. And Suna is like trying to see if they can take Jiwon with them, because I think they're the same age, but the woman is like, no, it's only you, we are focusing on the younger ones first, and it's only family that could come with you and all of that. So they're like, okay, fine, you know what, you're gonna get education, you're gonna get place and everything, you both go, it's fine. Suna and the grandma decide to go. While they're walking, because they have to walk a very long way, Suna is already she already has a weird feeling about it. There's other families that join them. There's this little girl, Yuyi, that she's the same age as Suna, and she's very excited, and her parents are there as well. There is also this old grandpa there as well, and they're walking and walking, and she's like, hey, this is taking a long time, my grandma cannot walk that much. And the teacher is like, we're very close, we're close to the cars, blah blah blah. But Suna already has a weird feeling about it. So the grandmother, of course, cannot walk anymore. It's a long trail, so they decide to take her and the grandpa back together with two men, and they're like, hey, you guys can go back, a car will come for you tonight or tomorrow, and they're gonna bring you to the apartments, so don't worry about it. For nothing, because as soon as that happens, in a few minutes they're already in the cars, and Suna is like, if we're so close to the cars, why did you tell them to go back? And they're like, it's fine, you will see her back at the apartments when we get there. And I'm like, yeah, that is not gonna happen. What ends up happening to the grandma and the grandpa from the other family is that they get killed. When they go back, they throw the grandpa off the mountain, and the grandma gets stabbed. And at this point is when Jiwoon and Namsa appear there, and they see it, and they recognize the two guys that were the two guys in the village, and they're like, what are you doing? And they start fighting them, and that's the first sign that we see them that they don't die, because they stab him, they cut him, and nothing happened to these people. Even Jiwoon at some point is able to capture one of them in a rope, and he's hanging upside down, and the guy just ended up cutting his leg off, just cut it off. And Jiwoon is like, what the fuck is happening here? That's when Enho appears and saves them by cutting the heads off. So the only way to kill these people is just their heads, and then they die. Of course they do. So she does that, she saves them. Of course, after this, because Jiwoon and Namsa recognize the guys, they start getting worried by Suna, because she's not there, of course, it's only the grandma, and they start having a bad feeling about it. And that's when Enho tells them that she has a plan of going to the apartments, getting her crew back that is still in the apartments, and kill Gisu. And then she also tells them that she was working for, well, she works for the military, but later on when the whole apartments thing started, she was working for Gisu. And when they tell her the real reason why they're there, what they're doing, which is involves Gisu shooting the military guy in front of her, and he returning to life in front of her, and literally her face is like, what is happening? Because all of them were part of the experiment besides her. Like, she didn't know anything about it until that point, and she gets to know that it is the experiments, that they're using the children that are in the apartments to create what Gisu needs to make this experiment work properly, because at this point it works, but not 100%, there's this little like bumps things that always appears at the back of the ear that is not normal. It shouldn't happen, and Gisu is like tweaking it to see what it is. So yeah, she of course doesn't want to be a part of it, so she runs away, and now she is ready to like go back there, get her crew, and kill him. We're going back to the apartments. It's a lot of back and forth at this point. Back to the apartment, back to them, stuff like that. So back at the apartment, Suna appears, and together with the other families and stuff, and Gisu appears, and we can immediately see that he is treated like a god there. Literally, people are screaming his name, clapping, everything. Like, he's god in those apartments. And of course Suna is like, what the hell? She keeps asking about her grandmother, and they're like, you'll see her at night. She's coming at night, she's coming tomorrow, things like that. They keep standing the time. Another weird thing about these apartments is that they keep the children separated from the parents. The children live in a specific floor, and they go to school and stuff, and the parents stay on a lower floor, I think it is, and they work there day and night, 24/7, and they're the ones that purify the water. They do that whole process. And what ends up happening is, at some point, I don't know if it is each month, I don't know, but whoever children come first in school, those parents get like a goodie bag. Clothes, food and stuff. It's literally like a goodie bag. Instead of a bag, it's a box, but they get that. And of course that makes the parents excited because they know their children are doing great. And they also have to request to see their children. If they don't, they cannot see them. They start school, Suna and the other girl, Yuyi. Suna already can see that those kids are not in the right mind. They have the bumps that she saw in the military guy. They're literally acting like they have no emotions whatsoever in class. She has a bad feeling about it. And they give them food at some point with a water bottle, and they're like, remember to drink the whole water, you guys have to drink the water. Suna doesn't, and Gisu appears, and she takes that opportunity to ask him about the grandmother. And he's like, she'll be here by night, but don't forget to drink your water. And she takes the water bottle, and she's like, I'm not drinking this shit, no. And she doesn't drink it. The other children's are, but essentially that water has something on it that activates whatever he needs to extract from the children, so they do have to drink it. And that activates whatever thing it is. I don't think they mentioned it properly, but it activates something that he needs to be activated for the whole experiment to work. Like, that's the whole thing of why they have to drink the water. Back to Namsa, Jiwoon, and now added Eunho. They need help. They need manpower, of course, because they're going to the apartment. Not really manpower. They need things to defend themselves, so they go to the police station. It's not a police station, it looks like a playground more than a police station, and there are two gangs there. They're fighting, and as soon as they see Namsa, one of them, which they call him Tiger, recognize him, and he's like, you are Namsa, the strong guy, you're the one that I fight with and lost, and now you're gonna die. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? So they have this whole montage of Namsa, Jiwoon, and Eunho fighting all the gang members, all of them, and they are not a match whatsoever. They end up getting not killed but knocked out, and then Namsa has them on capture, and they let go the people that they had cash and stuff. And Namsa goes to Tiger. It's like, okay, you're gonna tell me what the hell is happening at the apartment, and why, like, how are you guys involved with this? Because I know you are. So Tiger ends up telling them that the only thing that they do is they supply the children and families. So they go to the places, they scatter the places, which is the thing that the other guys were doing at the little village at the beginning. And then they let them know, like, hey, in this village there is this amount of children, this amount of families, and this and that. And then when they go to pick them up and take them to apartments, they receive food and water that is purified, and you know, basic needs that they need to survive. That's like the whole deal they have with the people from the apartment. What they end up giving them are guns. So now they all have guns to be able to defend themselves. And Tiger is also the one that gets them into the apartment in a truck, like a big truck. That's how they get in. So back to the apartment. Suna is able to get out at night. Now I don't know why she didn't go and run. I'm guessing it's because she doesn't know where her grandmother is. But instead of doing that, she decides to explore. She ends up getting to Gisu's office. She sees the experiments, and she ends up hiding because she hears people. And we see Yuyi, which is the girl, on the table or connected to stuff. She's knocked out or something, sleeping, I don't know how you will call it. And she's like connected to machines and stuff. And she hides. Suna hides because she hears people, and it is Gisu with military people and Yuyi parents, and they see her and they're very worried. They're like, what is happening to the child? They're only able to see her, by the way, because they were very insistent on seeing her, and Gisu is like, okay, I'll take you to her. And when they see her, of course they get worried. They're like, is there something wrong with my daughter? Why is she like this? What happened to her? And Gisu just tells them everything. He's like, no, she's being part of something very important. She's part of this experiment because I'm gonna save my daughter. And that's when we see the daughter for the first time. I see the daughter is not alive, okay? Like, she's from here up. Here down is non-existent. She's literally like a cage with water. The heart is there. The heart is beating. But how is she gonna, you know what I mean? Okay, so of course the parents are like, you're crazy, we're gonna get out of here. And they start shaking Yuyi to wake up, which makes her convulse. I'm guessing she gets a reaction, something, because she cannot be moved, and she dies. And this makes Gisu angry as F, and he ends up killing the parents. The mother gets shot in the head, I think, and the dad, he kills him by hand with a knife. Just done. And when he ends, he's like, okay, I'm calm, I'm good, I can go back to my perfect self. That's when he sees Suna hiding. He's like, oh, you're here, you can be the next one. So Gisu starts the experiments on Suna, and Namsa, Jiwoon, and Eunho are able to get to the apartment by the trucks and all of that, and they start killing people with guns. And they are able to get to the basement, I guess you could call it, where the other military soldiers that Eunho were talking about were there. Now, they were supposed to help them, but they end up killing them. Why? Because as soon as they open the gate, they just start running towards them, trying to kill them. And that's when we realize there were experiments, but they were the failed experiments, because they were literally almost full-on reptile. They had the tongues, they have, so I think some of them had weird legs. They were the failed experiments from the beginning, for sure, and they had them there so nobody could see them. So as soon as they see this, like, there gonna be no help whatsoever, so they do end up killing them. So now they don't have the manpower, the people to help them. It's only 3 of them, and there's a bunch of soldiers on the other side of the door in the hallway. And Namsa is like, okay, you guys, you both go. Jiwoon, you find Suna, Eunho, you find Gisu. I'll take care of the ones in the hallway. So they go their ways. So Eunho does, she's not able to find Gisu, but she finds the military guy that is in charge, which again, I don't know his name. If they said it, I couldn't find it. But I keep calling him military guy. He's an experiment. He doesn't die. She ends up fighting him, but she cannot win. He ends up throwing her off a balcony, and she stays there on the floor. And I was like, oh, she's dead. she didn't survive because it looked like a very high fall. So I was like, she's not alive. But she's alive. Don't worry, she's alive. She doesn't die. I was surprised when I saw her. I was like, you're alive? But she's fine. So, like, for a moment I thought she was immortal, but no, she's not. I mean, I don't think she is, but she's fine. She doesn't die after that. So that's when we get the most amazing fight between that military guy and Namsa. It's so good. I will say Namsan does get a few times punched. He gets his fight, like the military guy is like good, but not as good as him. So he ends up winning. Namsa wins. He the head, because that's the only way to kill him, and he does that, so he wins. It is a really good fight. The military guy tried. He hit a few punches on Namsan, but it's not enough. He still died. So Gisu finished the experiment on Suna, and he ingested himself with it, and that's when Suna reveals to him that she didn't drink the water. So whatever he ingested himself with, it's not gonna work. It's probably gonna be worse. So of course he starts puking, like there, like we see it on the sink, and he starts getting the bumps and stuff. Usually they get them behind the ear, but he's getting them all over his face. So it is a failed experiment, essentially. That's why he ingested himself, and now he is. So Jiwon does gets there on time. He ends up protecting Suna, and they're able to get out of there. I could worry at some point because she's still strapped to the whole thing with the cables and stuff, and Jiwon moved her. And I was like, oh crap, she's gonna the same as it. But no, I'm guessing because she didn't drink the water, the thing wasn't activated and stuff, so she's not gonna have the same reaction being moved at the other girl. So I was like, okay, she's alive, fine. I got worried for a second. The whole movie ends with Gisu trying to escape. The children are with the parents and stuff outside. Gisu is trying to escape. The parents are stopping him. He takes his daughter, that she's in the case, in a suitcase. That what he just said, a suitcase. And when he's outside, the parents are literally stopping him. They're like, what the hell did you do to your children? Like, what is this? My children's like this, blah, blah. And he gets so worked up that he takes a gun and starts shooting everybody. Not too many die, but there were a few casualties. A few people did die, but he starts shooting like crazy, and then he pukes again. He sees that the suitcase is leaking water, so when he opens it, he sees that the case inside where the daughter is, where the whole water is broken, her heart is barely beating, and he's like, don't worry daughter, like it's gonna be fine, I'm gonna be able to get you back, I just need a new place, new experiment, blah blah blah. And Ho, that's where we see her, that she's alive. Jiwon and Sana are appearing, and they're like, that's not gonna happen, like you need to let go of your daughter, she's not alive. And when he goes to shoot them, Namsa shoots him first and kills him, and then it starts to rain, and I'm guessing it's the first time that it rained because everybody's happy. And then the movie ends with Jiwon, Sana, and Suna. I have her name written in so many weird ways. And Namsan are in the little village doing their business with the meat and exchange of stuff. And Suna is with them and stuff, and they're together. Now she's with them, helping them and stuff, and that's how the movie ends. It is a happy ending. We really don't know what happens to Enho, really, now that I think about it. I didn't put it in my notes, but we really don't know what happened to her because the other two end up like living together as a family. So of course the grandma died, but really Gisu died, but we really don't know what Enho did, because she appears at the end when Gisu is killed and it starts to rain, but after that we don't see her. I don't remember seeing her in the little village getting food, so I really don't know what happened to her now that I think of it. I'm guessing she took charge of the apartment and now, you know, she's doing the right thing. I'm guessing, but I don't remember. I don't think they ever said. But yeah, that's how this thing ends. I absolutely love this movie. I would highly recommend it. It has action. It has some funny moments. It has some sad moments. So it has a little bit of everything. It's just less than 2 hours of a movie. I will say, I should have said it at the beginning, but I'm saying it now. If you don't like blood, if you don't like puking, if you don't like seeing people their heads off, if you're not into that, I don't think this movie is gonna be your cup of tea, because there's a lot of blood, a lot of puking, a lot of heads, cutting legs. There's a lot of blood in it, so if you're sensitive to that, I don't know if you're gonna be able to watch this, because you might be able to close your eyes, but you're gonna have them closed throughout your whole movie. So if that gives you a little bit of an ick, or you don't like it, this movie is probably not gonna be your cup of tea, because there's a lot of that. If you still want to give it a chance, go ahead. It is a good movie. There's a lot of actions. You can probably try not look at the blood, but if you don't mind any of that, you have seen way things worse than that. This is a good movie. It gave me vibes of another one called Black Knight on Netflix, which I did a video of it, because has the whole post-apocalyptic kind of a thing, and fighting for people and defending the people that are poor or that don't have that much. It gave me that vibe. Of course, it's a different story, but it is in the same line. So if you liked Black Knight, this is a good one. It's just more bloody than Black Knight, but it is a good movie. I do absolutely loved it, and the cast was amazing. I love those actors, so it was really good movie. I would highly suggest you watch it. I'm pretty sure it's still on Netflix, so you can go ahead and watch it. So yeah, if any of you have seen this movie, let me know what you think of it, if you liked it, if you not liked it, if you think the blood was too much. I have seen things way worse, so I was fine with it. So yeah, let me know what you think of the movie. If you end up watching it, let me know if you liked it or not. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing great. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next one.